I'm Mary Cole from Norwell. First of all, I'd like to commend your office for the marvelous job they do sending out emails. They even Twitter. I mean, I am so impressed. It's great. It's nice to have the transparency to the governor's office that we haven't had in the prior 16 years of Republican, et cetera, et cetera. Now then.
There's a but, though, right?
Oh, there's something. And you've actually heard this one from me before. I was emailing back and forth to a friend of mine I used to work with years ago who is now living in France. She was, when I told her we were looking at raising gas taxes to do different things, I could hear her laugh all across the pond. She told me it cost her $120 US to fill up her tiny little gas tank. And over half of that is taxes. So frankly, I'm all in favor of the gas tax. I am also in favor, as Paul Guzzi is, I believe, of it maybe even being a little higher. We have a lot to make up for. We have 16 years of neglect on our bridges and our infrastructure to make up for. So that I'm all in favor of, but I'm heartened by your statement about reform, and let me suggest one thing. Here's the but. And the but is simply this. I'm more than willing to pay an increased gas tax. God knows we're not paying $5 for gas like we were. But think in terms of what we're doing with our roads and our infrastructure and our transportation. You, fortunately or unfortunately, have come to office at the beginning of the twilight of the oil age. In Europe, you have concentrated cities and concentrated people living in jobs. And then you have farmland and open space, and yes, roads and rails do go between cities. Here, because we, in this country, had the oil age after the Second World War, we built out, every man has his acre. And this is a nightmare, and it's a nightmare that we are heir to today. And where I'm going with that is, unfortunately, we have laws in place in this state which encourage building which should have only been discouraged during the oil age and must be discouraged as we go forward.
In favor of a more smart growth type
In
of
favor
strategy.
of smart growth, and I'm speaking of 40B, which is a disaster. It's totally inappropriate what you were saying about people need to be near their jobs. I don't want to have to drive to work, but I can't imagine working anywhere that doesn't require a 30-mile drive. Even if I could get up to Rockland to take the bus, I mean, you know what it is? We have no transportation down here, but we do have 40B projects, and that's not right. Better we should look to Europe as the model for where we have to go for smart growth. And just that as an idea.
For those of you who don't know, we have had this conversation a couple of times. And then Mary, thank you for being the lone voice in the room willing to pay even more than 19 cents a gallon. And I take your point. I'm going to save for a different conversation about 40. Here's the deal, though, on Europe. Europe has been more. I mean, they have a very different approach to public investment than we do in America for the last maybe 20 years, maybe longer. Okay, but certainly since the Second World War, and they made some different choices. I don't think that we can undertake. I don't think I can undertake to sort of change American ways through a debate about this gas tax. But I do think that what we can do and what we have to do, Europe notwithstanding, is come back to something every one of us learned at our grandparents' meeting. And that is, we cannot have something for nothing. And we've been sold this bill of goods for a long, long time. And the builders do.